Hi everyone, so anyway, yeah, I'm actually up. Yeah, I don't really look that good now because I just woke up. So anyway, I'm gonna wash my face in a while, but I want to make a quick video because yeah, I was thinking about something because yesterday I was making this video about resentment and yeah, just the first thing I did when I woke up just now, yeah, before I started lying back in bed was to listen to a video about addictions. Yeah, I mean, and yeah, no, actually, it's basically about narcissistic abuse, and it was something by a coach for narcissistic abuse by the name of she goes by Trace Face It. Yeah, Trace Face It on YouTube. So yeah, I mean, I think that her video was very informative and talks about the idea of addictions. How that after narcissistic abuse, the pain, the trauma, everything leads us to go into certain habits. I mean, for people who are empathetic or empathic, also, I mean, highly sensitive people, we, we tend to actually go into certain things like food addictions. We either eat too much or eat too little. And I mean, we are obsessed with certain things like looking good, having the so-called right body, and if not, it's not there. There's also the addiction to alcohol. Yeah, it seems to be something that keeps on repeating itself. Okay, so I think that her video made a lot of sense, and I want to echo that. But today, the message that I want to actually put it out there is that that we are so obsessed. I mean, not just us, but even the narcissists themselves. There's this whole obsession with perfection. Yeah, perfection, being perfect. Um, but you know what I think it is. What is more important? Okay, that is my message for today. You are not perfect, and it's okay. In fact, it is actually good to be imperfect. Okay, why do I say that? When you get into any kind of relationship with a narcissist, I know at the beginning they will always be, bombing you with all this affection, telling you how great you are, how awesome you are. Um, but I mean, we know that the truth is that no one is really perfect. We know that all along. So ultimately, over time, I mean, as a narcissist gets to know you, it could be just in a matter of days, weeks, months, or years. I mean, once the devaluation sets in and they start realizing that, oh, this person that I thought, I mean, they don't think that they actually this person that they have been, I've been praising and complimenting as so perfect, turns out not to be so perfect after all. And I think it's at that point you realize, oh, they start, they will start devaluing you. Yeah, they'll be saying how not good enough you are, how you. I mean, that's one thing, saying that you're not good enough, you're lacking in something. But the other flip side, which is the one that I also got quite a lot of, was you're too much or something. Yeah. So it happens a lot. I mean, with this kind of toxic relationship, you're never good enough. But neither even if you're not good enough, you're too much or something. you're yeah too much, you're too, I mean, I don't have the thing about you're too fat. But I know some men and women, they have had that. For me it was like there are a few things. So you didn't talk enough about your interests, blah blah blah, in fitness or whatever, or you're not really that interested. It was very funny. I mean, now that I come think about it, when I told my friends about it, they say, what? Someone who has never competed before in any fitness competitions or physics competitions telling someone who is a physics athlete that he is not interested enough in bodybuilding and fitness. Yeah, that's funny. And many other things like, oh, you're too much, you drive me into a corner. I'm not been talking, why am I driving you into a corner? You realize that the lies of the narcissists, all that they tell you about yourself, yeah, they're just basically lies. So yes, you are not perfect, neither are they perfect, and so what? Imperfection is in us because we were meant to work towards perfection. And but the thing is this: working towards perfection or being a better, I mean, it's impossible. No one can be perfect, but you can work to become a better version of yourself, and you should never be doing it for another person. Okay, never. You should never be working to better yourself for another person, to become that person's idea of what you should be, because you'll be so unhappy. uh, Kind of like realized, like, how many years ago, 7 years, 7 8, no, 7 8, yeah, 8 years ago, 2015, that was actually, I mean, the story of how I met the last ex now is a really long story. I probably wouldn't talk about it since it's not much. I mean, it's already water under the bridge and everything. On and off, I did, in the earlier the first video that I talk about, in which I talk about narcissistic abuse and the discard, everything, and how the effects that it had on me in terms of PTSD. I talk quite a bit about it. But you know that, okay, back to what I told a friend who was a counselor, a social worker back then. When I first met the narcissist, and I was going through certain patterns. I was a victim in a way, and survivor. And I told him about ghosting, and yeah, ghosting for months, and then before then, all that whole thing about being manipulated. After that, after several, oh, sorry. So I realized that, when you, yeah, I get morning phlegm because of sinus. Um, I was telling him that, when at that point in time, yeah, when I was actually in a, I mean, I wasn't in a very financially good state. So and actually, after leaving academia, after leaving, yeah, I was like a professor of English in Japan in a university, but um, just right after leaving and then going to Australia and had not finding the job I wanted, and then deciding to come back to Singapore because of a bad living situation. That was the point when I actually met the ex now. Yeah, I mean, at the point in time, there wasn't any, I mean, real relationship to talk about. It was just like, very casual meeting. But you realize that at that point in time, things were, I mean, it's the beginning of something like the some kind of a trauma bond, or yeah. And I mean, I wasn't aware then, but it just seems like more like infatuation or something. But when a friend says talk to me, and then when we was talking, he said, because he was basing it on as a piece of advice about my own decision to go into the fitness industry at that point in time, which, as you all know, is a very abortive journey, and I ended up having to just put it by side and as a career choice, and I mean it became a recreational thing more again once again, and that the whole thing is this. My friend said this. Kevin, I'm sure that you realize that he said that as a friend because he knew me for many years, and from high school, pre-university, all right into university. So I mean, been in contact, yeah, over those years, and I mean, although we don't always necessarily talk that much, and he said, that I'm sure that as you get more and more into bodybuilding and fitness, um, you attract more and more attention from people. He didn't just mean necessarily girls, but he said, but he also was referring to gay men, and also very toxic people as well. Yeah, because I think that I mean we all know that in this particular industry itself, I mean, or even the bodybuilding scene or physique competition scene, there are, I mean, you find that everywhere, but especially where you're so concerned with the having the right body, you'll be judged, you'll be looked at, and your body, basically your body becomes the whole criteria by which you are being judged. I mean, whether you're muscular enough, whether you're not muscular enough, uh, whether you're too muscular, whether you're lean enough, not lean enough, or too lean. Yeah, even being too lean and too ripped will just get you all that criticism. And I know that especially because sometimes if I post any updates about my gym progress, sometimes that I get trolls, yeah, trolls telling me, oh, your legs are so small compared to the body, blah blah blah. By the way, I actually, my legs are not that bad. Because I know, because for once that one photographer whom I've done this shooting twice with, he said, actually in Korea, and he's a Korean photographer, he said, oh, you know what, Kevin, I think your lower body is not that bad. So because I mean he had to do some shoots in the concept of underwear, and it was fine. It's like he said, your lower body is actually quite good actually. Yeah, I squat. But that aside, okay, I mean, this is just a very minor kind of detractors, but what that friend said was quite true. You'll be judged. You attract attention. Sometimes not necessarily physical or emotional, but even sexual. Yeah. I think that the whole thing was yesterday was so annoying. I was like trying to deal with that flashback, and there are the triggers of the bullying, and also the bullied 30 years back in high school, and also even narcissistic abuse triggers from the last ex. And then that that's the headache that ensued, which was for a short while. I mean, a student of mine said that I sounded a little bit weird because I was talking about my own resentment. He said, yeah, he's a young kid, he's grade 6, but he said that, I mean, he's a pretty cool kid. uh, yeah, I mean, yeah, he's a pretty cool kid. Although he's only grade 6, his mom, and I mean, I guess that he had good parenting and everything. Having religious parents and everything. I mean, his father works in Thailand and everything, so he was telling me, he's teaching Mr. Kevin, you sound a bit weird. So I guess it kind of snapped me back. But yeah, I mean, nothing. There's nothing wrong with being imperfect. Seriously, I kind of realized this, especially after what my friend said the right thing. He said, "You get, I will attract attention." And yesterday, in the middle of all that tuition and everything, and working, teaching him and doing his brother and everything else, I have some stupid messages online from people I barely knew, asking me for so-called light fun. What do you mean by light fun? I don't even know what that is. And that person says, oh, non-anal sex. What? I'm not interested. Why are people so disgusting? Okay. They assume because you put yourself out there that you are interested in something, that you're automatically like them. Sleazy. And no, I mean, mind you, these people are not even into the physics sports and everything. So I had to really block that person. That person. I barely even knew him. Or I don't even know what the hell these people think. It's like I just said two words, just stop, and then I blocked. I reported that person anyway on WhatsApp and on Instagram. Yeah, that the person just initially I was just thinking, oh, this person is trying to make a friend or whatever. I mean, it's fine. I'm fine with making friends or whatever. And I did actually meet him once just to show him around town when he was in Singapore from coming from Malaysia because I thought that he wanted to relocate. Oh, that's a scam of a friendship. When you realize that they actually flatter, come up to you, tell how good you are, but you realize that in the end, that goodness that they claim that you have is just an attempt to hook you. And thankfully, I didn't. I mean, I didn't really talk much to him because I knew there was something. I didn't. I mean, I didn't know there was something, but I just kind of like found it odd to talk to people just and get so close to them or anything, even though it's just once. I mean, but there are one or two friends new online. They are fine, and they. I mean, regardless of whether they are gay or heterosexual or whatever, or bisexual, whatever, they're fine. They never ask me about stuff which are not meant to be, and I think that they actually. I mean, actually, I met them here in Singapore, but um, yeah, they have not been expecting any weird things from me, and they have not abused me emotionally, and that's fine. I mean, those are still my friends. And yeah, I think we do keep in touch and everything. So occasionally here and there. But yeah, but just back to the whole thing. I think that it's important to realize this. The reason why we are not perfect. Okay, there are religious explanations. Church people say, "Oh, it's all because of your sins or whatever." But uh, don't think that way. I know it sounds very counterintuitive. Now I'm waking up. You see, my waking up with my bed, my bed hair, my bedroom face, my sleepy eyes. It's not perfect. I mean, as I started making videos, yeah, I kind of like became more and more conscious, and I mean, I'm already quite conscious myself as someone who works out and who does all these fitness body profile shoots, but um, but I mean this whole thing about waking up. I mean, not just waking up, but being perfect. Is something that I think we all get trapped in after narcissistic abuse, and that actually after uh, that discard, I kind of realized this myself. There was this one point in time where there was a Twitter challenge. Yeah, there was this girl. She plays a very short post saying, I want everyone to post a photo of themselves when they thought that they were actually not okay, but they looked okay. So that, yeah, the contrast between looking good on social media or looking perfect with open and close inverted commas, and not actually being okay. Yeah. And I mean, then that challenge on Twitter had a long list of different things. I mean, different responses. Some people were in hospital, like awaiting an operation, an emergency operation. Yeah, some of these, and then but the post seemed okay, as in they were as if they were celebrating something, and I kind of realized this myself, and I actually responded to that challenge, not on Twitter, but I posted it on my Instagram. There was a gym update, yeah, gym progress shoot. I was actually looking good in that sense. But that was right after this guy. That was about one week or so after this guy. You know how it. I showed a friend this. I told a friend that flight attendant friend back then. I showed him. Do you know this photo that I had and this Twitter challenge? Yeah, I might look like I'm really looking good in the gym. I was putting on weight. Not fat, but just muscle weight, everything. But I look like I'm smiling, but actually I'm very run down. I was really run down emotionally, and that smile wasn't there. It wasn't a heartfelt smile, but it was just a normal smile, and I looked like I was doing something for social media. And on top of that, you know that the ex narcissist actually liked my Instagram. At that point in time, I hadn't blocked the ex. Yeah, the last ex. So when I told some friends were saying someone has the gall, yeah, the guts to like a photo after discarding you and even hoovering and stalking you on social media. Yeah. But I mean a month later or so, I plucked the courage to do all the blocking and everything. So yeah, no worries. And of course, I also cut out quite a number of people over the years because I realized that it wasn't healthy just to have even those spies and flying monkeys. But I mean, back to okay, the story is a very long story, but back to what I want to say. Uh, the reason why we are not perfect is because it's good for us to keep wanting to work towards becoming a better version of ourselves. You all realize that it's not a bad thing, you know. I mean, even now that I come think about it as myself, I mean, in the physics sports, seeing people always think about, oh, I want to get my pro card and this thing, I want to get my pro card. I don't just want to be an amateur athlete. I mean, some people think that way. They go to the extent of taking anabolic steroids and performance enhancing drugs. I'm not there to judge people. I mean, some of them, even personal trainers who are not competing, do that themselves. I can probably look on social media among some of my acquaintances and point out a few who are on that based on certain signs like gynecomastia, the fat tissue around their nipples, and yeah, I mean for the men, and the way their body holds water, and even off season and everything. And I can kind of tell that they're on stuff. So but you know what, I'm not there to judge or care about them, because the first thing is this, you know that when we are judged by narcissists and other toxic people, like, you're not good enough, you're too much of this. I mean, either side of the spectrum of goodness or badness, or you're too bad, you're too horrible. We tend to get so conscious about ourselves, and we start thinking, oh no, I'm not good enough, I'm terrible, I'm this, I'm that, I got to change myself. But you know that you're changing yourself to suit someone else, and changing yourself to suit someone else is never exactly a very good thing. Yeah, I mean, back in junior college, there was a pre-university before I entered university. I remember talking to someone from church. You know, this girl. I mean, that church I was at was an evangelical church. I mean, it was a charismatic church, but it was an evangelical church with two branches. And I remember talking to her. She was in the other branch. I was in the branch on the eastern side of town. Um, she was on the other branch in the western side of town. And I just told her, about changing myself. And she said, sometimes changing yourself to suit other people just because they think that you're not good enough or you're too much or something. I mean, yeah, for some people, they might just appreciate and say, oh, it's good. But ultimately, she said, you're still pleasing them. And some people will never get pleased with you. This applies to the narcissist. Do I want to do that for again? Do I want to please people who might not even care? And I think that a friend once said this, even like a few years ago. I think I really agree with her. She said, sometimes you want to change something about yourself. You want to do something. Don't do it for anyone else. Do it for yourself. Do it because you know that you're going to be happier, you're going to be a better person. And yeah, I changed not because I want to make someone happy. I mean, that someone who I want to make happy, to be a happier person is me, should be me. I mean, it's not being selfish. It's being realistic to know that my life, my quality of life will improve when I do that. And yeah, so sometimes people will tell me, why are you giving up your hobbies? I mean, like working out and competing and or just because of something said by that last sex years ago. Yeah, I know. I told y'all that I was really scared of one particular narcissist going to that competition that I was in last year. Last year, yeah, early last year in February, to wreak havoc with friends and offering flying monkeys, whatever. But I mean that kind of fear, and that's so stupid. I'm not saying I'm stupid, but I'm not saying anyone who's doing that is stupid, but yeah, that was kind of like inner demon that I was fighting. And that actually even right, as I even told the psychologist and even a counselor, right, I told that psychologist, that right before even that competition in February, in early February, right before the Chinese New Year, that was on, I think it was not February, late January, yes, I think it was the 29th of January, 1 week before, 2 weeks before, while preparing for it, I was thinking, what if this particular narcissist, whoever they are, what if they come with their friends to create havoc and whatever, or like, but I mean, at that point in time, there was COVID, so only participants could actually be there present. There wasn't an audience. The only audience was the audience of judges and organizers. But even then, that feeling was it still felt very yeah, it's like a kind of fear inspiring thing, not fear inspiring, fear provoking thing. um I remember that, oh dear, I always kept on wondering, what if one particular narcissist will come and join that competition, even though um these narcissists are not even that much in, I mean, maybe they are in good shape, yeah, but so I mean, they don't join it for the love of the sport. They join it because they want to yeah, compete with other people and mess up their lives and whatever, feel good over destroying people and running them down. So yeah, the fear was so real. And then I told that psychologist something. He said that thing. She said, Kevin, I'm just very interested now. What is it? How will you react if they really did that? If they really joined the competition, or went there just to watch? And how will you react? Will you just stop and leave the competition scene out of fear, or would you just keep on doing it, going through the competition and doing your best? I mean, this was still on my mind, even with the other prior show, which was Musclemania Asia, yeah, in December. I had fear. It kept on. I mean, maybe less so because I realized that, what, one friend has said this. He said, all these people, they are not there in the sports for interest. Yeah, they're there just to yeah, for their own supply. So but you know what? My response to the psychologist was surprisingly much more peaceful, because I said I still had to go through it because I committed to doing it, and right, so and yes, I did, and I got something. I won some medals. I mean, maybe not. I mean, the first one last year, I got number one for my category, the sports model category, and for this one, the second one, which I mean, I didn't really get first. I mean, it was like second, but it was like, there weren't that many people in my category anyway, like maybe two. So, and I mean, depending on the perspective, you can be the first, you can be the second from the front, from counting from the front, but you can also be the very last, counting from the fact that there are only two people because it's a seniors category. But I mean, that doesn't matter because as a friend used to say, a medal is a medal, trophy is a trophy. But I think that one thing that I posted about that kind of fear or the concern back in in sometime in February last year after that first competition, which was after many years of like taking a break and everything. And my coach was saying, Kevin, I must thank you for, yeah, I mean, he's retiring this year, moving to Mexico from because he's American. He said, I gotta say, he didn't say thank me. I must like congratulate you for yeah, thank you, Rob. Anyway, I must congratulate you for going through with that decision, yes, to compete. He said, what did he say that? Yeah, he wrote something similar. Yeah, on it was on Instagram. He said, you know, Kevin, I'm glad you went through with that choice to compete again after so long, and I'm glad that we actually slayed some demons. Slayed, yeah, slayed as in kill. I mean, not literally kill the demons, but to got rid of those inner demons. Yeah, so okay. I mean, but all these things, I'm going on a very long detractors because I'm just trying to solve all these emotions, and there are all the emotions of resentment, fear, paranoia, uh, anxiety, not feeling good enough, and all this. But ultimately, it just comes down to this one thing. It doesn't matter, what people say about you, about not being good enough or being too much or something. They're just other people's opinions about you. You are best for yourself, and you actually don't need to be perfect because you are meant to strive towards being a better version of yourself. Okay, so anyway, this has been long enough, and I've been talking quite a bit about this, but I hope everyone has a good day. Okay, anyway, I'm off to the toilet. Okay, I'll talk to you again soon. Okay, bye bye.